Սիրելի հավատացյալներ, երեք հայ եկեղեցին դոնեց իր սուրբերեն Սուրբ Ներսես մեծի դոնը։ Հայրաբեդմը, որ ապրեցավ 4-րդ դարուն եւ ունեցավ մեծ իրաքորձումներ, որոնք պատմության մեջ արձանագրվեցան եւ արժանի գերբով իրեն դվին հadouk կոչումը, հadouk անունը մեծ։ Եվ այսպիսով ան գջանցվի մեր հայ եկեղեցու պատմության մեջ իբրև Սուրբ Ներսես մեծ։ My dear brothers and sisters, yesterday and today our church is celebrating one of the feast of one of its greatest saints and Catholicos in its history, Saint Nerses the Great, a saint and a Catholicos who lived in the 4th century, and because of his many accomplishments, because of the impact that he left, he was rightly called later by the church historians as Saint Nerses the Great. He was an individual who took the words of Jesus very seriously, especially the ones that were about caring for the poor. And in his years, he expanded the social role of the church to include the caring for the poor and for the underprivileged. He was born in Caesarea, Caesarea, and he was the great-grandson of Saint Gregory the Illuminator. At the time, the Catholicoi used to marry. And then in 353, he became a Catholicos. Until his time, being a Catholicos meant being a person who was close to the ruling class of the day, close to the nobility of the day. When Saint Nerses became a Catholicos, he changed it. He changed the people's view of the Catholicos and who was he dealing with. He brought the church to the people. He was the Catholicos of the people and not of the nobility. He included in his thoughts and in his works those who were rejected by the society. He wanted to approach them, to take care of them. Do not forget that in the ancient times there weren't governments who would take on responsibility to take care of the people who weren't doing good, either financially, or they were sick, or they were outcasts, the needy. There was nothing like that. But Saint Nerses, he took on him and the church the endeavor to take care of these people. And so he opened several hospitals at the time. He opened several places who took care of these sick people. He also opened many schools and many monasteries so that the life of the church becomes more focused on spirituality. And also these schools, these monasteries were centers for education. With his reforms, with Saint Nerses the Great reforms, the Armenian church followed the words of Jesus that say, I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you took care of me. I was prison and you visited me. Because you did this to my children, you also did it to me. Yes, we are a church, and our main business, if we put it this way, is to care for the salvation of the souls. But we are both souls and bodies, and we cannot neglect the needs of the body. We cannot neglect the needs of the people. And this is why the church also has a social ministry. Wherever it is, it also opens its hands and invites people to think and actively care for those who are in need. And our prelacy, 25 years ago, being inspired by this great example of Saint Narcissus, by his social work and the way he led the church to focus also on the social ministry, our prelacy started a special ministry in Armenia that at the time was or became newly independent 25 years ago, where it had many needs because of the collapse of the previous government, because of the new reality, the new challenges. Our prelacy too wanted to get involved in a social ministry. And so it founded a ministry called Saint Narcissus, the charitable organization. And in the past 25 years, through this ministry, more than $3 million were spent, mostly on programs for the orphans, for those who are needy, for those who were outcasts, for the sick, for their basic care, financial and other needs. And today, we have this legacy of 25 years of service in Armenia, our prelacy, and through the prelacy, the churches, and through our churches, several individuals. We are here today to celebrate this legacy. First of all, to thank God that God has helped us. He has led us in this ministry to think about our brothers and sisters in Armenia. And today, honoring and remembering this legacy, our prelacy once again invites us to reflect upon the importance of the social work of the church that is taking place in Armenia, the homeland. And on this occasion, today, our prelacy churches, including our church, is going to have a second collection once you leave from the church. Think about all the good things that are happening through this ministry in Armenia, where we have the opportunity to assist with our donations in this program. It is the prelacy's program. It is called Eastern Prelacy St. Narcissus Charitable Organization, but it happens through all of our communities because we are part of this prelacy. For this reason, I will invite you to consider donating to this program today when you leave the church through the second collection. Every single penny is helping a child that lives in Armenia not in the best conditions, a child that opened his or her eyes and found himself or herself in a family or in a not family, and he or she needs our help. He or she needs the basic things in life to survive, to live as a human being with honor and with dignity. And my dear brothers and sisters, whatever we give with the conviction that our reward will be in heaven. God doesn't forget anything good that we do for others. God rewards us in heaven and also sends us His blessings here on earth. In Christianity, we have the duty to think about our brothers and sisters. In the early church, we have a great example of this. If you read the book of Acts, when Christians in Jerusalem had difficulties, financial difficulties, we read that all of the other churches started to make collections to send them to this church in Jerusalem. Paul the Apostle, we read, he urged several Christians at the time to send their donations and collections to Jerusalem. Today we are simply continuing this example because it is true that geographically we live very far away from each other. Thousands of miles separate us, but we also believe that we are united with our faith and our common heritage, something that makes us closer than anything else. God bless all of our generosity. Amen.